What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wait What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 94. My name is Bret, aka Enigma 9011, and we're flying solo once again. But that's okay. We're going to have some fun and interesting conversations for you guys. If you want to catch this podcast live, you can go to twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join the chat if you're a sub over there. We'd love to have you in on the conversation. If you can't catch it live, that's a-okay. You can go over to YouTube and SoundCloud the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video in MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. And last but not least, hashtag ad merch store. You can get all of your swag over there, t-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand, support us. It would be greatly appreciated. So yes, flying solo once again today. I know we've been doing a lot of guests and I've been having fun with them. I just figured, as of recording, it's a holiday weekend. People will be free because it's a holiday weekend, but people might have plans. So I was like, you know what, we'll just play it safe. We'll fly solo, and we'll just talk about some good old wrestling and some other stuff. But you know me, usually it's a solo podcast. There's wrestling involved somehow. So we're going to get to the wrestling topics in 2 and 3, but I wanted to kick off today's podcast by talking about a little movie that just came out. We're going to talk about The Fast and the Furious 9, or Fast 9 as it's being called. If you haven't watched this movie, obviously skip this part. I'm going to kind of give my general thoughts in the beginning of my impressions if you want to know that, and then once we get to the spoiler territory, I'll be like, all right, we're going all out explanation there. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that movie a little bit and what I thought of it. So, non-spoiler thoughts of Fast 9. I thought it was good. I thought it was a fun movie. It was enjoyable. I think they did a good job with the story of tying everything in and how they implemented the new characters and stuff like that. The big important thing to know about this movie, and you know, generally, if you're going to see a Fast and Furious movie by now, you should already know this, but maybe the rest of the people who are just like, I don't know, I might go see it, don't know this. If you're going to go to this movie, just go in for the entertainment value. Turn off your brain going into this movie. Now, I'm not saying, like, it's so stupid that you need to turn off your brain. I just mean, like, turn it off and have fun with it. Because by now, you should know, it's just going to get more ridiculous. The action it's action for action's sake. It's just big, dumb fun. If you go in with that mindset of, like, let's just have a good time, let's share some laughs, let's see all the crazy stuff that they're going to do, you're going to walk away out of this enjoying it. But if you're just sitting there the whole time being like, what the hell is this? This makes no sense. This is stupid. You're not going to, you're not going to enjoy it. So that would be my advice to you if you're if you're planning on seeing this. Just go in to have fun. Realize that it's going to be kind of crazy and stupid, and just have a good time with it. I don't know. That would be my my recommendation. So now we're going to go into full spoiler mode. We're not obviously going to talk about the whole movie, but just some things that I thought were good, bad, whatever. So if you haven't seen the movie and you want to skip this, go over to part 2 and go from there. So Fast 9, like I said, it was good. I thought they did a really good job with the story. So they're telling the story of John Cena's character, aka Dominic's brother. Which I'm already blanking on his name. That's not good. But Jacob, Jesus. So talking about Jacob. So we're kind of getting the backstory of Dom and Jacob and their family, and how, like, they helped their dad with the races, and unfortunately they both lost their father during a race, and how, like, their bond kind of split because Dom went to jail and did his time, and Jacob, meanwhile, obviously was free to his own devices. So I thought these, throughout the movie, they intermittently, like, flash back to kind of give us more context to why they split, the dad's accident, causes for it, the rift and friction between them, why they never really reconciled or whatever. So we get that throughout, and they give us that filler / backstory that, like, why haven't we talked about this character in the other 8 movies? Like, we know about Mia, Dom's sister, but we've never heard of the brother at all. So I thought they did a good job of, like I said, every once in a while throwing back this narrative to kind of fill it all together. I thought they did a good job with that. As for the overarching story, just like the more recent Fast and Furiouses, it's Furious High? No, just kidding. Oh, this is a big thing. It's gonna affect the planet. Blah blah blah. This one was like a tech weapon that was gonna shut things down and allow access to anything and everything for whoever is in control of this device, including weapons, etc., etc. So obviously everything's over the top like situation here for essentially these normal people to deal with, or that they get called in and summoned for. We tied in Mr. Nobody, how he's the source of this problem. Like, oh, he reached out, being this big thing to them, and he needs their help. The overarching story of stopping Jacob from activating this thing was good. They did a good job of showing the stakes of like Dom and his family. Like, do we want the family life? Do we want the, to keep up with the high speed stuff and action or whatever, that more thrilling side of family and life? And they, how they brought everybody in to do it made sense. Nobody felt like shoehorned in. I would say the only ones who maybe felt that way were the guys from Tokyo Drift, which it's been kind of like that. I don't remember when the first one that came back was. I don't know if it was 7 or if it was 8, where they finally brought back the main guy from Tokyo Drift, Sean. And like, he was in it for a hot second. Like, they always seem, at least that movie, they're never like fully back. Like we've seen in other Fast and Furious, is like, oh, we're getting the gang back together. Like, you have Ludacris's character and all these other characters that come back, and then they're like there for the main chunk of the movie. They're figuring out how they're gonna solve things, or in the action sequences or whatever. But the Tokyo Drift guys, they're kind of like there for like a filler. Like, oh, we need to either get some backstory, or this is setting something up, if that makes sense. They're not there for like the high speed or the insane action or whatever. So I would say they're the only ones that are shoehorned in. It doesn't feel forced. It's just like, oh, hey, it's so-and-so. Here it is. As I'm talking, there is a shoehorn in, but I'll talk about that after these guys. But at least their portion made sense and added into the story of like, oh, okay, they're setting up the rocket car with these guys. They're doing the experiments on it, then we're going to call back to it, and that's how we go to in space. Yeah, you heard me right. Going in space. Stupid, dumb fun. So, like, that story all made sense, how the people were added in. Speaking of shoehorn and people just showing up out of nowhere, shout out to my boy Kev. What is a Cardi B? For some reason, Cardi B's in this movie. I don't know if just because fucking Vin Diesel and her are tight. Stupid. That was the only shoehorn that made no sense. All these other characters like, oh, that's so-and-so from this one, or oh, that's the friend from this one. Dom gets captured at one point by Interpol, or whatever the fuck the thing is called. He's in the armored vehicle, and all of a sudden, the guards all take their masks off, and there's a bunch of ladies, and Cardi B's like their leader. Oh, hey, haven't seen you forever. Blah, 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 blah. No explanation, whatever. We just needed a way to get Dom out of this thing. Stupid. That was the only dumb shoehorn in there. I know, Artemis. Why is Cardi B in this movie? She's not an actress. She wants to be. She can be. But it was dumb. So, that was the only dumb shoehorn. We got some nice call-outs to Brian. We know, obviously, with Paul Walker's death, Brian's not going to be in this movie, or any of these movies, which I'll talk about later as well. But we got, finally, like, call-outs to him, because since his passing, we've kind of avoided talking about him. I think maybe they've only name-dropped him, like, once. It's nice to know, like, they're acknowledging, yes, this character's still around, obviously, in the universe, but, yeah, his actor passed away, isn't around. So he's taking care of the kids. he shows up at the end for the family dinner, which is nice, or at least you see the signature car drive up. So I did appreciate that. We're at least acknowledging, hey, there's that. While I'm on this train of thought with Brian, it was at the very end. It's, the usual shtick. We saved the day, and now we're going to have the big family dinner. I was wondering how they were going to do it, if they were going to acknowledge it at all. Not that this is, recent that this happened, but I think the last time they just kind of completely ignored it, that he wasn't even there. I was wondering if they're going to do, a silhouette of him, or just, a standing figure that would have represented him, or been oh, okay, he's there. But they kind of really made a point of, we're going to say grace, we're going to do the whole thing, start the celebration. Oh, there's a chair that's empty. And then Mia responds, oh, he's on his way, don't worry. And then, like I said, we see the signature car pull in. Now, I have some thoughts about this. Nice, like I said, for them to acknowledge and just, he's still around in this universe. It makes me a little bit nervous that they made it such a big point at the end of the movie. This is how it cuts out to credits, of the car rolling into the driveway. The reason that's concerning, and that it's such a focal point, Fast 10 is going to be a two-parter, and I believe it's the end of the saga series, whatever you want to call it. For the love of God, please do not bring back Paul Walker CGI mode. I don't want it. I understand it's the end of the series. You would want that to tie in. If it's just similar to how they did at the end of 7, where obviously he's doing the driving away part, that little nice moment and send off for him. If it's just use his brothers and then do the thing, and it's just a goodbye or a send off for him, fine, totally fine with that. Do that. Do not, please, fully put this man in this movie. I don't know. It's I want to see it because obviously the character has legacy there, but also it's the man's dead. Can we just let him be? Now, you could, I can already hear the arguments for it. And like I said, I kind of want it, but I also don't. You could make the argument similar to Star Wars, Rogue One. God forbid, I cannot tell you the actor's name, but the older general that was completely CG. Oh, he was in the movie, blah, blah, blah. You could make that argument. I get it. I don't know when this gentleman passed. I don't know the timeline here. So I could say it was longer since his passing or whatever, or I don't know. He also just stood there and talked. So it's not I don't know. It's a hard path to walk. Oh, it makes sense. Oh, it doesn't make sense. Or is whatever. Logical, whatever word you want to use for it. So I'm just concerned about that with that little end credit scene. Like I said, would it be nice to have a little send-off if this is truly the end of the series? Yes, of course. Bring everybody back. Then again, you've been bringing everybody back pretty much for the last 4 movies. Just, one last goodbye for everybody. Now, does Fast 7's drive-away scene? That was a perfect goodbye. Everybody cried. I cried. That's a perfect send-off scene. Do you need another one for that character? No, I don't think so. But as a send-off for the series, doesn't make sense. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, time will tell. So, going back to the story. I know I'm jumping all around here. I apologize. Thought they did a good job with the story. The action was entertaining and exciting. We saw a lot of it in the trailers. I'm not going to lie. There wasn't any big action set pieces that weren't in the trailer. We saw John Cena drive off the cliff and get swooped up by the jet. We saw the big armored vehicle eat the rockets and stand up, and then get flipped into a jet. We saw these moments already. So there was nothing at least that I can picture, that really stands out as unique to the film, which is kind of sad now thinking about it. I would say the only thing that they didn't show was going to space, which, don't show that. That's the fun little thing of like, oh my god, they actually did it. So that's a little that there wasn't anything added to that. But I thought all the action set pieces were cool. The magnet stuff was alright. The bringing back of Han is cool. I wonder, they could have done a little bit better of an explanation with how they disguised his death. Like, they just said Mr. Nobody had ways of doing it. I don't know if it was like a hologram shit or whatever the fuck, but that was a little confusing. They could have showed that a little bit better. But cool, he's back. Cool to implement him into this story with the saving the little girl, and she's part of the key to access the tech weapon. So cool that he's back. I joked around. I went to see this movie with Charlie and Brendan. I joked around after. I'm like, all right, so everybody's back. Is Gal Gadot going to come back in the next movie? Somehow she survived falling from the airplane. I don't know. We keep playing with that are they really dead thing throughout this series. Another thing we keep playing around with is we're falling into a pattern with these, at least the back half of these movies, is we got the bad guy, and by the next movie they're a good guy. The trend stays the same here. The Rock was bad in Fast 5, Fast 6 he's good. Not Owen Shaw. There's two Shaw brothers. What's the actor's name? Shit. He did the movie with The Rock, the spinoff, Hobbs and Shaw. Big action star. Anyways, he was bad. Now he's good. I'm sure I think there's one other one where that transition happens. But now we're doing it with Cena. We had the whole redemption arc with Cena at the end, which is like, it's very predictable. Because obviously we've done it for the last 3-4 movies. It's just like, alright, guess fuck it. Whatever, John Cena's good now. Which, makes sense. He's a multi-million-dollar movie star. You want him in your movie franchise. So I get that. The one thing I do appreciate, though, is they're keeping Cypher, a.k.a. Charlize Theron, I believe, her character, the big bad. Thank you. It's not just one and done with her. She's been around for numerous movies, kicking ass, taking names. Thank you. They did pull the little... they got me with her dying in the drone, but it was a drone she was flying, not an actual plane, so I do appreciate that. Circling back one quick second just with Charlize's character and the trailers, they did a good job of cutting that trailer together to make it feel like she was more in charge and that she saved Cena at that one point when she did not. That was just a little loop-de-loop there, so I did appreciate that. So yeah, we're kind of falling into this trend of bad guy becomes good guy. Whatever. It's fine. I'm not against it. It's just really predictable now, and it's like, okay, well, what's the stakes here? Like, am I supposed to care that Cena's bad? Probably not, because I know by the end of this movie, hey, he's going to be a good guy. He's going to be on our team. So, yeah, whatever. After credits scene. We see Owen Shaw beating up some person in a punching bag that he's trying to get information from, and he was the one who killed Han, allegedly, back at the end of Fast 6, I believe. We saw that. So Han shows up at his place, and we just get this little quick stare down. How is this going to play out? I don't know, because technically Owen Shaw is good now. He's worked with Dwayne. He's worked with The Rock's character, Hobbs' character. And technically I think he worked with the main crew as well before they did the Hobbs and Shaw spinoff. So, yeah, that's going to be awkward. I don't know how they're going to swipe that palette clean. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, it was a fun movie. It was a good time. Do I need to go see it again? Probably not, but I won't lie, getting, like, excited to go to the movie theaters again after this whole, shit show of a year and a half has been. I was excited to go. I was actually excited to rewatch the whole series, which I haven't done yet, but like it got me hyped to go do that. So yeah, I think it obviously filled its role. Selling movie tickets, being an exciting, fun movie. It did a good job with that. So I hope you guys enjoyed it too. I'd be interested to have some more conversations with people, what they thought, what they liked, what they didn't like. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Fast 10 is actually the end, the two-parter, and then, we drive off to the sunset with that. I don't know. Let's see, Papa Griffin chat says, so having only seen parts of Fast 1 and the one with The Rock and all the wrestlers, just one dumb question and a totally random visual observation. Okay, so watching Fast 1, I was able to buy into Dom and Mia being bro and sis. Not so easy with Jacob. Do we get Cena because he's hot commodity? I don't see the family resemblance. I could see it a little bit facially, like structure-wise. I do understand, like, it's a reach. Like, they do have similar, well, maybe not jawline, but nose and other facial features. Like, okay, maybe. I assume yes. Honestly, it's like, oh shit, Cena's a big get. How do we figure out how to put him in this movie, kind of thing. I don't think this is an MCU situation where they're like planning meticulously ahead of time. Maybe they are. Maybe Vin's the big mastermind of this whole thing. I don't fucking know. But no, it's probably like, okay, we want a big name to fill a role. What makes it more dramatic? We'll make him a family member, and then obviously we, like I said, we kind of sprinkle in the family elements here, backstory, into the movie to make it make sense. Like I said, they did a good job with it making sense because it made sense why we haven't talked about this character before in the other movies and how it could have fit. Could have brought Austin. Maybe that might have been an age thing. I don't know. It could have. Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I assume it's just like, oh, we need a money name. John Cena. He's a money name. So there's that. I don't think it's a like connection with The Rock kind of thing, because I think Vin and Rock are button heads. That's why Hobbs and Shaw was a spin-off movie and whatever, but I don't know. That's going to be an interesting thing too. If by Fast 10 are we going to, everything's, bridge, water under the bridge, are we going to be able to move forward with that? I hope so. But I don't know. Is there actually really drama? Who knows? It's not any of my business. I don't know. But yeah, good movie, good time. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know. Moving on to topic 2, we're back at it again. Bret, didn't you just talk about this like 3 weeks ago? Yeah, I did, and it happened again, because fuck it. We got more WWE releases. Why? Why did we get... I'm so frustrated. I was messaging Lady at work, because we worked all day. I happened to check Twitter once I get to the second job, and as soon as I see this news, I just all caps typed no and sent it, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? More WWE releases as of June 25th, I believe. Oh god. Name wise, it's not as big as the other one, but I'll explain my pure rage and frustration that I was having that night. So as of June 25th, releases from WWE, there are 14 releases. Arturo Rujas, Marina Shafir, Killian Dane, Tino Sabatelli, Sunil Singh, Samir Singh, Kurt Stallion, Fandango, Tyler Breeze, Arya Davari, Tony Nese, Austin Gray, Chase Parker, and Matt Martell. Now, obviously, as we talked about last time, any release is shitty. What are we doing? WWE's been on a fucking tear as of late, releasing people left and right. Is there more to come? Sad to say, probably. And I'm gonna hate it. What is going on with this company? At this point, I don't think I can just point the finger at Vince and say, what the fuck are you doing now? I don't know. This has to be some bigger picture. I don't know if it's a sell. I don't know if it's a buyout. I don't know if it's just Nick Khan fucking everybody over. I have no idea what's going on, but it is frustrating as all fuck. Now, the reason it's frustrating, and welcome to the soapbox, by the way. If you want to skip ahead, I don't blame you. The reason it's frustrating as all fuck. Little backstory. I like wrestling. No shit. I can't watch a lot of wrestling because of timing. I don't watch Raw because Raw is a struggle to watch anyways. NXT is the only program that I watch weekly. Lady and I have been watching it for probably about 2 months now. It's great. I watched it back in 2016 when we had the rebrand from the talent show to the actual show. Watched it a bunch through, I think I watched weekly through 2018. Then it was like here and there, like I would watch it. So NXT is the only weekly one I watch. Love AEW, love Impact, Ring of Honor and New Japan I keep up with on social media, but don't watch all that much or know what's going on, who's there, whatever. SmackDown's obviously doing their thing, and I'll watch the monthly pay-per-views. I'll put those on. I usually don't watch them live because, once again, busy, but when I have the time, I will put them on, have them on while I'm either editing, playing a game, whatever. Love wrestling. No shit. If you're just popping in, there's a whole backlog of episodes about wrestling. Anyways, the reason this is frustrating, NXT is the only show I watch weekly. Now, I'm not trying to be on my soapbox and be like, oh, you're breaking away my show. No. The reason it's so fucking frustrating is watching NXT weekly. Some of the talent in this fucking release are inactive storylines. What are we doing? We had this last time also with Aleister Black. We just brought him back. We did 4 months, or sorry, not 4 months. We did 4 weeks of vignettes for the man. He comes back, kicks Big E in the face with a spin hook kick. Then him and Big E are off TV for a week. And then he gets released. Why? We have the same thing with Alexander Wolf from Imperium. The man, this is from May 29th. The man is on NXT. Imperium and him are kind of having a little button of heads of like, do we really trust this guy anymore? I don't know. He gets beat in a match. They seem all cool. Imperium beats the shit out of him. He's out of the group. He gets released. Fine. The man was doing his job, and that's the way on the way out. That one at least is a little bit, makes more sense. Braun Strowman, literally in the main event at a pay-per-view that month. Gone. See ya, bye. Ruby Riott, Riot Squad. Can we fucking do something with that team? Lana's always doing something. She was tagging with Naomi. Like, there's people we're using. Now it gets super frustrating with this group of releases because they're being used in storylines literally the week before. Some of them. Everrise, Chase Parker, Matt Martell are killing it with Everrise Live. They're doing it every week on social media. They're very entertaining. Are they shitty heels? Yes, but they're entertaining heels. They're good. They're doing this show every week. It kind of seems like we're turning a face at this point because of the comedy shtick, similar to The Way. I don't know. They're in a program with a new group, Hit Row, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Top Dollar, Adonis, and I'm sorry I'm blanking on the lady's name. They're in a story with them. Leading up to In Your House, we get the little drama in the back. That Tuesday, before the releases, they beat up Everrise. They win. Yeah. They're gone. That Tuesday, that same Tuesday night on NXT, speaking of Imperium, Walter's like, we gotta get back to where we were. You guys lost the tag belts to these two shitholes of Tyler Breeze and Fandango. I'm kind of improvising here if you couldn't tell. You lost to these two shitholes. We gotta get back to Imperium being the roughest, toughest group of badasses Britain's ever seen. Or the UK. Probably the UK's ever seen. We're gonna beat the shit out of Fandango and Tyler Breeze. We have a match. I swear to God, unless I'm remembering this wrong. Breeze and Fandango win that match. Surprise victory. roll up, whatever the fuck it was. They win it. Imperium, we're pissed. No shit, we're bad guys. Beat the ever-living shit out of them. They beat them so bad, they got fired the next day or the next week, whenever it was. What are we doing? You had a storyline there. So there's that. Killian Dane, currently tagging. Well, not now, was tagging with Drake Maverick. One of the worst themes ever, in my opinion. Entrance-wise, but whatever. They're working. Who were they working with? Oh, shit. They had a storyline too. I'm blanking. I apologize. But they had a storyline too, where they're working against people. That's you just broke up. Well, you let 2 go, and then you broke up 3 of your tag teams. Everybody criticizes WWE for tag team wrestling. Oh, you guys don't invest in tag team wrestling enough. Oh, you guys just throw people together. Looking at you, Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. I know that's eventually going to lead to a storyline. You're just throwing teams together. AEW over here. Now, I'm not trying to be AEW shill and Mark, whatever the fuck. AEW's got all these tag teams. They have a whole division. Everybody loves it. You need to realize that you need to do something with tag teams, WWE. And NXT's been doing great with that. And you just got rid of 3 of them. Now, I'm not saying these teams are, all exciting, amazing, going to go to the top money-wise. But Breezango, killing it, entertaining. They do what they need to do. They're experienced vets, and they can help other teams. You got Dane and Maverick. A very weird combination that kind of works. Are they going to go and be the best tag team ever? No, but use them while you got them. Everrise. Entertaining as all fuck. Do they really get momentum, or have they gotten momentum behind them win-wise? No, but that's fine. You need this spectrum of tag teams to build up the other ones. Not trying to use jobber as a bad term here, because they last more than 30 seconds. You need teams that can take the fall. Bully Ray on Busted Open said it recently about a whole different topic. Wins and losses don't matter. Now, yes, does it matter? Like, oh, this person won the title, blah, 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 all that. But who's thinking about win-loss records? AEW does, because they decide to be different and do that, and that's totally fine. But in WWE, do wins and losses really care? No. I don't care how many times Xavier Woods has been beat the shit up and lost the match. I don't care how many times Santino Marella back in the day got beat. No. The man was entertaining, he was a character, and he was on TV. We're using him. You need this spectrum of teams to do that. Maybe Everrise is that. Maybe Dane and Maverick is that. Breezango was fucking that. Use them to elevate others. Hit Row's brand new. We need to establish Top Dollar and Adonis. The audience hasn't seen much of them. They've wrestled once as a team since showing up. Do something with them. They are, but you need... As Papa Griff says in chat, a wrestler's job is to make the other guy look good and get both of you over. Exactly. If no one's there to take the fall, that sounds bad, but the fall, no one can progress. And it's similar to basketball. This is the easiest analogy I can think of. Role players. Your 6th man is a role player. He comes in, he's not on the starting line, but he's there because he's good at what he does, and he can keep you in the game. Same with your bench players. You can fit them in at certain points. I'm sure other sports do this really well too, like hockey. Obviously, I watch hockey. You can sub this in. This guy's a really good defenseman. He's really good at killing the power play. He's really good at doing this. Role players. Are they your star players? No. They're not your LeBron James. They're not your Kevin Durant. They're... What? Nathan McKinnon, Cale McCarr, Gabriel Landeskog, The Boy, Groovy. They're not these big names. And that's fine. They still hold important fucking roles. What are we doing? They're there to make the team better so they can succeed. So wrestling needs that too. Once again, Santino's a really easy cherry pick option here that I can just think of. The man was entertaining as shit, right? He goes out there, it looks like a dumbass, we all laugh. The man won the Intercontinental title here and there, and he won tag titles. Great. Are in the annals of history, 20, 30 years down the line, are we going to be like, oh, Santino Marella is one of the best ever? No. We're not. But the man did what he needed to do, was successful, and made others good. On the same branch, look at Vladimir Kozlov. Oh, we're going to try this thing where he's this big, muscle dude, and he's going to be mean, he's from Russia, and blah, blah, blah. It worked a little bit. We tried it with Triple H back in the day, whatever year that was. Okay, we need a big heel. It worked. Then we tried after Triple H, didn't get a lot of traction. What do? You take him, and you do something else with him. This guy's got a lot of personality and charisma. Oh shit, he's actually getting over. There you go. Kozlov was good with his ass kicking out the comedy guy. I was fine with it. I thought he was good as the mean guy too, but it just didn't seem like he was getting all the traction they were hoping for him with him. They just need to realize if something's not working, do something else with them. And you could say that about the other releases here, or the other releases throughout this fucking year. Do something with them. I don't know. Daivari and Nice, both very talented 205 Live guys. It's not working? Let's try something else. Nice is pretty entertaining. Seeing him on Up, Up, Down, Down occasionally. Entertaining guy. He had a funny moment in the greatest Royal Rumble. Do something different with him. That's all. That's all I'm saying is not everybody's going to be Roman Reigns. Not everybody's going to be LeBron. Not everybody's going to be Nathan McKinnon. You need the others role players to either build talent or just fill certain roles, be entertaining, whatever it is. I don't know. So going back to it, the biggest reason these specific releases is just because a bunch of these guys were in storylines, and it just throws a whole monkey wrench in a bunch of things NXT wise. Now, did they adapt in this past Tuesday? Yes, of course. They do a good job with that. They do that with wrestling all the time. Somebody gets hurt, we need to rearrange stuff, bum. There you go. Papa Griff says, by rights, the Fashion Police should have died a hard death, but it kicked ass because the guys who worked it. 100%. 100%. I was never a big fan of the initial idea of Breezango, but yes, it won me over. It worked. They were entertaining with their comedy sketches. There's a really good tag team match with them against the Usos. I forget which pay-per-view. That's great. And when they went back to NXT, they killed it. They became tag team champions. Awesome. And like we mentioned before, they filled their roles. They're getting other talent over. And it's not a 30-second beatdown. They're having good, solid matches too. So, you can still believe in them, even if they lose. They're still viable talents. It's great. I forgot what thought I was on. But yeah, they'll adapt the storylines, of course. Wrestling's an always adapting thing. Anything can change at any time. It's just so frustrating that these guys were in something, doing something, see you bye. I don't know. So there's my little soapbox about the recent WWE releases. I hope, obviously everybody finds success if they decide to keep wrestling, or obviously move on from there. Fandango said he was been wrestling WWE 14 years. I was like, oh shit, has it really been that long? Damn. So whatever. Papa Griff says, so touch on your thoughts on Samoa Joe. Selfishly, very excited. Very happy for the guy being back in WWE. Excited there. And I'll talk about Zelina as well, saying this is breaking fucking news as of last night, which I didn't even understand because I didn't check social media for a while. My thoughts on Samoa Joe. Selfishly, I'm very happy. Very happy he's back. I never wanted him to leave. I think he's good in WWE, and obviously I'm glad he's getting that more mainstream spotlight. As for his role in NXT right now, I think it makes sense. So they had a build to it, I want to say over the past month, subtle build towards it. Regal has been losing control of the locker room with Cross, with Cole, with O'Reilly, with Gargano, with Pete Dunne. He's been losing control. A lot of jump attacks backstage, and other people too, like Leon Ruff and Scott Swerve were getting into it as well. A lot of attacks backstage, a lot of brawls, a lot of fights, a lot of just not... Regal's not really able to keep the peace. Not keep the peace, but keep things civil. That's the word you're looking for, Bret. Keep things civil. So we saw it for a while, maybe a month, maybe two, backstage, where every once in a while people would be in these segments, and there's always the big pull apart, blah, 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 everybody's yelling, blah, 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 yada, yada. We had the unsanctioned match with Cole and O'Reilly. This was probably the most severe or elevated that this situation has gotten into, or had gotten into. So we get the build there. We get NXT in your house. Good pay-per-view. Great thing. Regal says, I'm stressed out. I don't feel I can do my job to the best. Like, I'm not doing this job service or a good enough job for this. So it might be the end of me. Come to Tuesday. He's doing his retirement speech, saying he's leaving. Thank you for everything. You know, it's been a great journey. The idea was to bring in Joe as the new GM. Bring Joe as the new GM. Cool. Joe says, nah, fuck that. I respect you. You're great at what you do. But if you need help, I'll do that. So he's like this enforcer role. Now, obviously he got released. I just closed the list. But he was part of the releases back in May, I think. So he's obviously being hired back quick, which I'm glad, once again. I'm not sure if it was just like this overall business thing that's going on, or if it was like he wanted to get back in the ring, and obviously he's doing the commentary, and like that wasn't adding up, because this was another thing. Like, Joe was just on WrestleMania doing commentary, and then like the next night he's off commentary, being replaced by Adnan Virk or whatever the guy's name was. Very strange series of events for his release. So I'm not sure if it was just he wanted to get back in the ring, and unfortunately they couldn't do that with concussion protocol, whatever it is, and they were like, amicable split, see ya, bye. So right now he's back as the enforcer. We've seen him getting Jesus Christ. We've seen him get physically involved once or twice. He's choked out Adam Cole, and I think he was dealing with something this past week that I can't remember. The man's obviously got the ability to do things, but he's not going to be wrestling for now. Keywords right there, for now. The WWE or NXT is smart. They know we want to see Joe wrestle. They are being smart with having these stare downs between numerous talent in NXT. Adam Cole, Karrion Kross, Pete Dunne. We've had these silent or limited word exchanges between the two that are teasing these matchups. So, in my opinion, I think this enforcer role is going to be very short-lived, or maybe 6 months to a year it's going to be done. I think there's rumors going around he's training to be back in ring. Obviously, dirt sheets, it's very hit or miss on what is real, what is not, or what's accurate. So take everything with a grain of salt. But they're being smart with at least teasing these things. And I don't think they would tease them. I don't think it would be a smart business move to tease them for them to never happen. if they are going to do that, that's unfortunate. And maybe it's just to get like the rumblings of the audience to go, and everybody to speculate. But I don't know if that's not the plan. I don't know if that's the best plan for them to tease, if that makes sense. So I like it. Like I said, I'm glad he's back. I hope he can return to in-ring action. And if he can, that's a big pickup for NXT, talent-wise, to be honest. I mean, we'll talk about it soon, but, like, call-up-wise, he did okay. He didn't do anything super great. And that could also have been injuries. Like, I don't know. But, like, obviously when he was in NXT, he was either the first or second two-time NXT champion, and he was dominant with that NXT championship, had a good program with Nakamura and other talents there. Like, that's a good one. And to see these matchups that they're teasing, spot on. Now, as for the more recent one of Zelina Vega recently coming back down on SmackDown as of recording last night, this one baffles me beyond no, I don't know what I'm saying. No end. I like Zelina. Glad she's back. Don't get me wrong. I'm never like, oh, this person's back. The only person I'm like that for is Brock. Fuck you, Brock. No, just kidding. Like, I'm not like, oh, she's back. This is terrible. I'm happy she's back. I'm just so fucking confused as of why. Not because of her talent, not because of Money in the Bank. No, that's fine. That makes sense. I get it. I'm so confused because she got released months ago. She probably could have done her no-compete would have been up pretty soon, to be honest. She got released months ago for talking out about, like, the third-party stuff. The Twitch, the OnlyFans, the, other avenues for the wrestlers, the independent contractors to make money for themselves. She talked out about that. They weren't happy, whatever. Amicable split. Whatever. Fine. She's been sitting at home. She's been live streaming. She's been doing her own thing since. Like I said, her no-compete probably was coming up soon. And she decides to come back. That's Confusion 1. Okay. Confusion 2. We already touched on it as well. Aleister Black, her husband, just got released. Not that long ago. A week. Maybe a week and a half. Now, do you and your significant other need to be tied at the hip and do everything together? No. However, if you already had feelings about WWE with your own release, and then your husband gets released after maybe been asking it for months, and then getting a story, but then getting immediately chopped at the knees there, cut off at the knees, and now you're back. Why? I'm so confused. Very confused as the whole situation there. Obviously, they must have figured something out. All cool. I don't know if this is a long-term deal. I don't know if it's a short-term deal. Interesting. Now comes into the question, or another question I'm just thinking of, with the Joe Selena thing. They're both being released and coming back. Are we going to see other people come back in a quick turnaround fashion? Like, is Aleister going to go to NXT? I doubt it. But, like, I don't know. I don't think Breeze is going anywhere with Up, Up, Down, Down. Xavier's talked about it a little bit, or teased at it at least. So, like, he'll be around still in at least some form or fashion. He's probably going to focus on the school. But I don't know. Glad she's wrestling. That's cool. She was a great manager, but good to see her do more of the wrestling part, which she only did a handful of times main roster wise, and then NXT was more the place she did that. It's just confusing. I don't know. That's all I can really say towards her situation specifically. But yeah, Joe, all for it. Hopefully, like I said, it can come back to the in-ring stuff. If not, it's unfortunate, but at least he's involved. If he's happy and all parties are happy, then, good luck, Godspeed, all that stuff. I don't know. So moving on to topic 3. Speaking of NXT, more wrestling. This is a topic I've been kind of teasing for a while. I want to talk about NXT Call Ups. So for the general audience, if you're still sticking around with us, thanks. What NXT Call Up is, so NXT is technically, by their own definition, the developmental brand. So this is used for homegrown talent or indie talent to learn the ways of the WWE style, whether it's TV, whether it's their wrestling performance styles. Learn that, get used to it, perform, and then if and when Vince or higher ups say, hey, we want XYZ talent, we'll bring them up, and then they'll be on the main roster and travel the globe and go from there. We're going to be talking about the NXT call-ups and the kind of success-fail rate that I've been teasing about for a while. Because, we, as an audience, as fans, as wrestling fans, we say a lot of these guys are not the talent is failures, but the call-up is not what we were expecting success rate. So I mentioned this pre-recording. Maybe I could have done a little bit more better homework on this, but I'm going to try my best to go through. I don't know if I'll hit all the talent, but I'm going to try and go through the talent that has come up from NXT, whether it was homegrown, whether it was indie and they moved in, and talk about the good and the bad and the ugly that has come from the all-coveted NXT call-up title. So I've pulled up some lists from fandom, from Reddit, and from Cage Side Seats of people who have moved up from NXT to the main roster at some point. So this list on Reddit is pretty chronological order, so I think I'm going to start with them. But unfortunately, they only have until 2017, and then I'll kind of hop around between the other two sources. All right, so we're talking about NXT 2016 when they rebranded. I think it was 2016. Maybe it was 20. Well, actually, it might have been early. 2014. We're talking not the talent show for wrestling fans. The NXT talent show, that thing. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the actual, smaller show, wrestling focused, blam, going from there. And until hopefully current day. So we're starting off strong. The early call-ups of NXT are definitely a lot of success stories. We got the big 3 right off the bat. We got Dean Ambrose, also Jon Moxley, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, aka The Shield. The Shield obviously crushed it and have been crushing it since their call-up. They're probably the best success rate story out of all of these. There's a couple that have definitely been big, and we'll talk about them as well, but these are probably your biggest success stories of NXT and the call-ups. Obviously, with the Shield being a thing, being involved with CM Punk, being involved with Cena, and the Authority, and the compelling split when Rollins decided to go, and obviously all 3 have won numerous world championships, IC title, US title, tag belts, etc. They won pretty much everything. Mox is obviously crushing it now in independence, whether it's New Japan or AEW. He's had success there. These guys crushed it. Now, you can't really say too much bad things about them. There was a couple hiccups here and there where maybe Ambrose wasn't in the best storyline for him personally. However, these 3 were always being used. And that's the thing I think maybe I should talk about definition-wise for success failure is I don't think success necessarily means like championships or the top of the card, etc. I think my definition for success is going to be you're being used on TV and you're getting traction. The failure part is either you're not used on TV or just like the audience does not connect at all for whatever reason. So obviously these three, they're the flag bearers. That is what, should have ideally happened with any call-ups, or at least most of them, if you're going to put them in that light. Another big one we have is Big E of the New Day. When he was called up, he wasn't New Day. And, maybe his call-up initially wasn't the best. He was tagging with Dolph Ziggler, and they had AJ Lee as their manager. And he was fine. He had an IC title run then. But, I don't know, his character wasn't getting over. Then him, Woods, and Kofi got together, and obviously, New Day blew up from there. Whether it was them as the heels, or getting more comfortable and being more themselves, and obviously the fucking merch phenoms that they are now. Obviously, he's doing his own thing now over on SmackDown. So far, so good, which is great. Hopefully, they can keep that push for him. I do appreciate that when they did split brand-wise, it wasn't splitting the tag team of I'm going to beat you guys up and be my own thing. Mutual respect was had, and they just moved on from there. Do appreciate that. So Big E, another success. We talked about this guy in the last topic, Fandango. Fandango's an interesting one. I'm going to say success for him, but there was definitely a lot of down points in his call-up. We had the instant shoot rocket strap on his back with the win over Jericho at Mania, and then Breezango has had its ups from what we talked about last topic, but there was definitely a lot of lulls in between. Overall, I'll say a success, but yeah, it took some time. It also took some time in NXT to get traction. He tried his original character, what was the name? Johnny Curtis, I think it was. But, yeah. So I'll say success there. Summer Rae. It's an interesting one because she was always on TV doing something, but I don't know. Maybe just from a wrestling perspective, at least from what I was seeing, she could get it done, but it wasn't like I was compelled enough to be like, oh yeah, Summer Rae's wrestling, if that makes sense. Curtis Axel, another one that was around a lot, but I'd say failure just because he never really got the traction. I think the most he had was maybe when Heyman was managing him, and even then that was kind of iffy. So I don't know. Next, we got the Wyatt family. We got Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, a.k.a. Brody Lee, and Eric Rowan. B-Team was hilarious. B-Team was great for Curtis Axel and some other talents we're going to talk about. Adam Rose, Bo Dallas, and it was Heath Slater. That was great. That is something we talked about last topic. Taking something that's not working and let's put it somewhere else. And same with him, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas with being the Miz Taraj. That's smart. That's the thing I'll say about Axel is they kept trying to rebrand him, repurpose him. He was always around. It's just he never got big traction like maybe they were hoping for. So I will give them kudos to that, to trying new things with him and him, putting in the effort to make it count. But yeah, just obviously unfortunately did not maybe get the traction they were looking for. So Wyatt family is the next one. These guys obviously had a lot of success. I would say probably Rowan the least, but as a tag team, Harper and Rowan killed it. Wyatt's obviously gone on to success of his own, whether it's the world title picture or his new Fiend character, or more recent Fiend character. So I would say these are all success stories. It's going to be interesting to see if Rowan now, since being released maybe a year and a half ago, if he wants to continue wrestling. If he doesn't, that's fine. But I would still say his career for what it was a success. Was it a little shaky on the way out with that stupid spider and a cage gimmick? Yes. But, whatever. it's all good there. And obviously Brody had a lot of success in AEW. Unfortunately, with his passing, we can't see the full scope of what it could be, but obviously he had enough traction for himself and success that people believed in him there, and in general for audience sake that he found success. Xavier Woods, another success, but boy oh boy was this an interesting call up. So we had Brodus Clay doing his thing, being the what was it, Funkadactyls and the, I don't remember, something Saurus, whatever dancing party gimmick this was, and then Xavier just took it from him, and what? It did not work. He never brought his Mighty Morphin Nerd gimmick up to the main roster. He did with the look of it, but he never went full out like NXT with the success there. Obviously New Day, as we mentioned with Big E, crushed it there, so I'd definitely say success. And he's been successful in obviously spreading his roots in other avenues, whether it's up, down, whether it's G4, whether it's just being more involved in the internet community and stuff like that. He's doing work for himself, so success there. Emma overall, or as she's now called, what's her... Oh crap, I had it and then I lost it. She's in Impact right now. It's something with a T. I can't think of it. Tennille Dashwood. Thank you, Baba Griff. Appreciate that. Tennille has done great for herself. She's done really good. She crushed it. Her and Paige, who's actually coming up next, crushed it in the ladies division, really started building that up in NXT. When she went to the main roster, I'm going to say success technically. Once again, she was used on TV a lot. She did the comedy shtick with Santino. Towards the end of her WWE run, it was really confusing, similar to an Aleister Black situation. She had months and months of vignettes, promos, this new Emmalina character, where she was this high fashionista, superstar. She comes out 1 week, finally makes her debut after all these vignettes, and then is gone. Not released, but just taken off TV, and eventually gets released. Very confusing. Like I said, she's done well for herself, being the Tennille character, whether it's Impact, whether it's indie scene. So success, I would say, just a confusing ending. I mentioned Paige as well. Paige crushed it. Paige obviously being on, when she got called up to the main roster, being the current NXT Women's Champion, then winning from AJ Lee the Divas Championship, and then being around a whole bunch in the main roster, in the main scene in the ladies. Unfortunately, injuries here and there would take her out of that, but obviously she was a success there. Rusev and Lana, or Miro. I want to say success, because this is another situation of no, they didn't do maybe the full potential with Rusev, but I would say overall, it's another situation of what he was given, they made it work. Whether it was the Bulgarian Brute and the whole thing with Cena, I know he didn't win, but that main eventer-esque spot and the U.S. Championship, or whether it was him and Aiden English doing their thing for Rusev Day, it got over. There was some hiccups too here, League of Nations. That was a whole thing. So I could hear it either way, success, failure, because of the missed potential, but I would say success. Obviously, he's doing good things over in AEW now. I don't know. It's hard to say without crowds if he's super, super over with the current character, but time will tell. Lana's an interesting one. I'm going to say this one's a fail. Not on her fault at all, but I don't know. It's hard. She never got traction behind her. She did great as a manager, and I think she got a lot of heat for that. But she was in a lot of weird storylines, her and Bobby Lashley being a thing. Like, she started at the tail end, obviously tagging with Naomi, which I guess worked. Yeah, the Lashley story was booty. Giant booty. Which I guess them tagging together kind of worked. But then there was the whole, like, 12 weeks in a row she was getting put through tables by Nia Jax. For whatever reason. I don't know. That seemed like a fail. Okay, then we move into almost out of the 2014 section. We got a few more. We got Adam Rose, we got Bo Dallas, and we have the Ascension. Oh boy. Okay, so Adam Rose is definitely a fail. The call up. It's a tough one because NXT, he crushed it. Like, everybody loved his gimmick. It was a lot of fun. I think it was just a disconnect. Him, and eventually we'll talk about No Way Jose, which was essentially the same exact character. Just, it did not connect with the grander, bigger audience for whatever reason. And I think if maybe they reworked the gimmick a little bit, especially with Rose, maybe instead of having him be this, like, party goer face, if they kind of altered it to make it this, like, egotistical heel, maybe that could have gotten some heat for him and that could have built traction. It's hard to say, obviously, with, like, ifs and buts, but maybe if they tried that could have worked. But Rose, unfortunately, with the main roster call up, he had some things here like B team, but, like, overall I wouldn't say his run was a success. Bo Dallas is another one. We've already mentioned, like, he's had numerous different gimmicks, whether it was B team, whether it was Bo Leave, which he debuted as main roster wise, or it was the Miz Taraj. Bo's an interesting one that I'm surprised didn't work. And I'm not sure if it was just an annoying factor. The Bo Leave part, like, Bo Leave, it's weird. I've gone back and I watched NXT since the rebrand through where I first started watching it in 2016. So, like, I'm seeing a lot of his talent, like, where they started and how they built up. Bo was a weird one. Bo was a face for a while. He won the NXT belt, and then he just wasn't on TV for, like, 4 weeks and was doing vignette stuff. And that's when the crowd started hating him for the Bo Leave movement. And yeah, when he got called up, I could have seen that getting a lot of traction, being the annoying heel, but still, like, obviously working well in the ring. Just never caught on. And then the Ascension. Man, what a sad failure column the Ascension is. These guys destroyed it. Absolutely destroyed it in NXT. Both iterations. You had Connor and Victor, and then you had Bram, who's now in NWA, and Connor. Both did so good. Both iterations. Whether it was the feud between the Usos and them, or it was the dominant year-long run as the tag champs, they were loved down in Florida. And then just being brought up to the main roster once again, I don't know, it was that disconnect. I think the real dagger was putting them with Stardust. That was putting them in the grave, like, just writing them off. It's such a shame that these guys couldn't break through and be a really dominant tag team like I saw they could be. But yeah, oof there. Kalisto, I think the only really success he had main roster wise was the Cruiserweight belt. Unfortunately, the Lucha Dragons was really popular, brought it up, didn't do anything with it. After losing the Cruiserweight belt and kind of being out of the 205 live scene, not really a lot behind them. They tried with Lucha House Party. They never pushed behind it. They just got thrown around by Lars Sullivan that one time. That was it. Man was good and talented. Could have used him. We got Neville. We got Pac. I'd say a success, to be honest. He was a Cruiserweight champion. He was U.S. champion. I know he had the superhero gimmick, which wasn't everybody's favorite. I know people wanted him more main roster, and I think that's what he wanted for himself too. I'd still say success. The man was very popular. Obviously got over with his wrestling talent. I think that's a success. Like I said, I know he wanted bigger things for himself. If he wasn't going to get it there, he moved on. He did, and he's in that scene right now. But I'd still say success. Okay, now we get a lot of big names that have caught a lot of success for themselves in the column here. We got Kevin Owens, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Braun Strowman, Tyler Breeze, Sami Zayn. Another big chunk of success stories there. I know all these characters haven't necessarily been used to their fullest at all times, but I feel like the 6 or 7 of them have been constantly used. Like, they're in the picture somehow. Becky obviously didn't get her full breakout until the nose break, and then she found the man character and went, to the moon there. Not a Cameron Grimes reference. And has found success. And then obviously Charlotte's been crushing it. Sasha's been crushing it. Owens and Zayn, whether it's main title for Owens or mid card for either of them, they've been doing well. And like I said, they've been consistent on storylines. Braun took a little while. He never wrestled in NXT. He just got brought up for the Wyatt family. So that was a little rough because he was still a little green when he started. But obviously he, has worked. From there, with the Wyatt family, and then past it, he's gotten the Rocket and, done pretty well with him. He's never been my favorite, but he's had success there. And then Breeze. Breeze's main roster, maybe this is a F, but I would say success just for the... Okay, it's a failure in one way for Breeze, and it's a success in another. Similar to Fandango, how we already brought up, Breezango, Fashion Police, and the NXT return. That's all success. I think the failure comes from bringing up the Prince Pretty gimmick to the main roster. It could have been great, and it was great in NXT. We brought him in for this dumb Dolph Ziggler love angle storyline. Summer Rae's involved. So bad, just set up to fail. So, coming into it, he just did not have not had a good path laid out for him. Eva Marie. Okay, this one could go either way of a success fail story. She's currently back doing her thing. I'm going to say fail, but her overarch is a success. It's a fail because when she was initially brought in, the wrestling talent was clearly not there. The heat was there, good for her to draw that, but the wrestling portion, not good. She goes back to NXT. She trains with Kendrick, trains with those guys. Wrestling gets better. She gets a little bit more confident in herself and her character. Heel NXT Eva, great. Gets back up on the main roster. Still has that confident character, but then we do the dumb thing where she never wrestles. She's brought back now. She's not wrestling. She did a tag match, but she's doing something with Piper Niven, which I'm excited about. Excited for Piper, not for Eva. So it's a 50-50 here. She's very successful with the heat that she draws. And if she's confident in her character, she could do great things. If the wrestling can be backed up and she's put in decent storylines where she can do kind of stuff like that, maybe be a little bit more involved wrestling-wise and not just standing around, I think this is on the right track. But I can definitely understand the argument 50-50 of success failure there. Baron Corbin obviously has been crushing it. He was okay in NXT. I really liked his Lone Wolf gimmick, but once he got main roster, they believed in him. King gimmick's been good, and his corporate gimmick has been good. Man, seeing some of these names is real sad, because Enzo and Big Cass. Holy crap. What a bonfire of, like, joy and pops that these guys got. Unfortunately, some drama. Those guys are out. But, man, when they were there, main roster, never won the tag belts. I don't think they won the tag belts in NXT either, unfortunately. But those guys had some success. Unfortunately, like I said, some drama there. Yeah. Apollo Crews. I'm going to put this in the F column. The failure column. Right now, he's finally in the success column with his new gimmick and the IC title. I think that's working. But other than that, man wasn't in NXT very long either. So we couldn't really get some traction there. Yeah. So there was that. Who was the other big dude that had the NXT winning streak back when Baron was Lone Wolf? They had a match at one of the early big shows for NXT. Are you thinking Bull Dempsey, maybe? You think he's on the independents? That would be my guess. In English, Simon Gotch. Ooh, Vaudevillains. NXT, they got traction. I'm trying to think of their main roster. I think they did okay for a minute with main roster, and then unfortunately the accident with Enzo happened and the knockout. That Gotch was bye-bye right after that. Aiden made it work with Rusev Day, but I don't know if he ever found success for himself. So that's like, it's an iffy one. He did really well in commentary, like filling those roles, but yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one to say. Dana Brooke, I'm going to put that one in the F column. She's been on TV a lot, but I don't know. I don't know if she's really got any traction going for her, even with the new tag team with Mandy. Mandy's another one. I'm like, I don't know. And this could all be personal. I mean, clearly, personal opinion. Mojo Rawley, nope. Dead on arrival. Great in NXT. Hype Bros or solo. Main roster, nope. Big fat nope. Nia Jax, I would technically say success. She's been involved, doing her thing. Has everybody hated the women's tag thing that's going on now? Yeah, but technically a success. Balor, I'd put a success too. Universal title right off the bat. IC, US. Wait, was he US? I don't think he was US. Good. Like, it's another one, like, was he used to his full potential that everybody wanted to see him at? No. But I would say success. He was always around. He was always doing something in the light. His recent NXT return, fantastic. Good there. It's going to be interesting to see if he sticks around or leaves once again. Bliss, Alexa Bliss and Carmella, both successes. This is another sad one. Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, American Alpha. Oh, boy. I'm trying to think of fan reaction when they were on main roster. They were definitely used. I don't remember how they were received. And I don't know if they were ever, like, allowed to do what they did in NXT to get traction with, like, Dash and Scott Dawson. But obviously with Jason Jordan's injury, I'm glad Gable's still around. I wish he would. I haven't watched SmackDown really fully, you know. So I don't know how him and Otis are doing together. It seems to be working, but Gable's somebody that, like, really could be, like, really good main event scene. I really honestly do feel that way. I feel he could be a Mysterio underdog-esque because the man is very talented in the ring. It's a shame that the injury did happen and they haven't gotten pushed. Wouldn't like Rockers kill Bees Bulldogs. Gotcha. The universe has no love for babyface tag teams anymore. It's a shame. Bailey's obviously been crushing it with the rest of the ladies. Rich Swann, that's a sad one because the whole allegations there. That's why he ducked out. That's a rough one to call success failure. Same with Austin Aries, drama there. Both 205 Live champions, cruiserweight champions, but weren't really around long enough to say a success failure. Both good talents, but Swan, obviously the allegations that I think proved to be false. And then Aries had some drama, so there was that. Joe, we've already talked about with the last topic at the end, so main roster, maybe not full potential, but I'd say success. Injuries, unfortunately, plaguing that. Aries is a dick. Yeah, true. We got... Wow. I'm blanking on their tag team name. Was it just Dash and Dawson? Scott Dawson, Dash Wilder. They're over in AEW now. I don't remember if they had actual tag team name or if they were just them. Success. Well, okay. Revival. Jesus Christ. Thank you for that. Revival. Main roster. Probably not success. That might be an F. That might be a failure. Injuries didn't help. And then, yeah, they were in some hokey storylines. So, yeah, I'm going to put that in the F column. Ty Dillinger, perfect 10. Unfortunately, not a perfect 10 on the main roster. We had moments at the Rumble. Fucking everybody, that first appearance at number 10. Everybody was going crazy. And maybe that's just because of the hardcore and it's the big four, one of the big four pay-per-views. But fortunately, main roster, nothing. So I'm going to put that in the F. Shinsuke. It's another 50-50 one. Success because he's been on TV a lot. Not success because there's not a lot of push behind him to be what he could be. Could see that either way. Bobby Roode, I put that in the F. This man was glorious beyond contempt, and just we brought him up and didn't do a whole lot with him. I don't know. I don't know. Alright, so I know I've been chatting a while about this topic, so I'm going to try and just scroll through these other lists, bring up bigger names that I see and kind of talk about yays, nays. I'll probably miss people. Elias Sampson, aka just Elias now, I'd say success. NXT did not have a lot of traction, but once he's brought up to the main roster, being the performer gimmick, he's obviously crushed it and has been used quite a bit. Papa Griff brings up Drew Galloway, aka Drew McIntyre. Yes, he's a success story because obviously he left. I mean, if you're watching WWE, probably left, revamped himself in Impact and Indies, came back, crushed it there, and his main roster now, obviously main event scene, one Mania. Yeah, so great there. Let's see who else we got here in the list. I think this one I've covered everybody. Yep, I have. All right, thank you, fandom. Lars Sullivan. Nope, that was a whole train wreck. No Way Jose we've talked about. Let's see. Hideo Itami. That was an F. That was a failure. Had some traction in NXT. I don't know if he ever really got a full, full backing in NXT also. Not usage, but I don't know if the fans were fully behind him. And when he came up to the main roster, there. Let's see. Lacey Evans. I'd say success because they use her a lot. I'd say F because she didn't seem ready when they called her up. There was a lot of botches in that Rumble. She's not my favorite. Ember Moon, I'd say main roster call up. That was a F. Is she back on the upswing now? Both times she's been in NXT, we're doing good. Other than that, main roster, nope. Not a lot of success there for her, unfortunately. Nikki Cross, I'd say is another 50-50. I'd say yes because they're using her a lot and she's present. It's not what we were hoping for with Sanity. Getting called up as a group, I thought that could have been good, but it's one of those things where they call up and they have no plan. Same with Tucker and Otis. Oh, what the fuck were we doing with them? No, you didn't miss Asuka. She wasn't in the list that I saw there. She might have been after The initial list was just up to 2017, so it might have been off. Now I'm in like a ranking list, so it's all out of order. Tucker and Otis, why did we break up that team? What are we doing? Tucker's not even around anymore. EC3 called up way too soon, not because he wasn't capable, but like, you didn't do shit with him. And there's so many of these people, you know, that were called up, we're going to use for one thing, and then we have no plans for. Riot Squad, that's probably an F, unfortunately. Authors of Pain is probably an F. The biggest thing they did was being lackeys for Seth Rollins, which would have been great, and then they gave up on that storyline, as they do. Sonya and Mandy's like a 50-50. I don't know if they really ever got really a big push. Aleister Black, I'd put in an F column. Ricochet, I'd put in an F column. He seems on the upswing now. He's on TV. Hopefully we can keep the momentum behind him. Iconics. You know what? I'm going to say Iconics kind of success. Now, reason for this, NXT, they were kind of hopping in between characters before they finally landed on the Iconics gimmick. They were tagging with each other for a while, but they weren't fully in their characters. Obviously, the Mania main event, or that tag match, was great. I know the split was bad, and that was probably the start of the downfall. Billie Kay did fantastic with her solo stuff. Peyton had a good match with Asuka, but that was it. I'd say success just because I think they had more than they did in NXT, but I could understand that one both ways. Andrade, it's a tough one too. He wasn't super over NXT, but obviously did really well. I think with him and the pairing of Zelina, I think that works. So I'd say success. Lio Rush, no, I say that's an F. The only really success I saw with Lio, like, he did good as Bobby's manager, but like the only thing that really caught my eye with him is when they started letting him wrestle, and him and Angel Garza crushed it for the Cruiserweight title on NXT for like a while. Buddy Murphy, down. Let's see. I think we already talked about Carmella. Asuka has done really well. Has she always been in like storylines we love? No. But I do think overall she has been a success on the main roster. So she's great. This list is cut off and does not give me everybody. That's okay. But names that come to mind, like you mentioned, the War Raiders. It's tough to say if they've had success on their call-up. I'd say no. But also, Hanson, I think the big bearded guy, he got hurt. So, like, they had a good program with Street Profits, who have found a lot of success. They had a program with them that I thought worked, but then, like, they went full comedy gimmick with War Raiders, which could be down. Not that the guys can't pull it off, but what maybe the audience wants them to be. Like the NXT TakeOver with them, Aleister and Ricochet was fantastic. Like, if they were more that character, those characters, I think it would work. With them coming back recently, time will tell, so I don't know if I can officially call it on them as of right now. Wow, I feel like I had names and then I forgot them. Kairi Sane, I'd say success. Kabuki Warriors, was good. It's another one of those, like, did she reach the full potential we wanted to see her get to? No, but I think that was a successful tag team for what it was. Who else is there that I can think of? There's a couple talents that's not like an official call-up, but like they played both parts, like Cesaro, Usos, like they would go down there. Shayna and Toni Storm. Toni Storm's technically not a call-up because she's still in NXT. She went from UK to NXT, and
Tony right now isn't being used. She did a small program with Zoe Stark. I'm a little worried about that. Like, she crushed it in UK. I hope they have something for Tony planned. Shayna main roster was great for the first 30 seconds. No, it was great up until post Elimination Chamber. And since then, big old F. Big failure. It's just a lot of these call-ups that we mentioned either today or the plethora that I'm sure I forgot. It's such a shame. We have this idea for you. We want you on the main roster. Keith Lee, another example. Great. Let's push you to the moon. We'll do this one thing, and then afterwards, I have no idea what you're here for. Great. Thanks. Appreciate it. That was Shayna. Let's make her this badass. Let's do that. And we'll have you be this badass heel for Elimination Chamber. I don't even know if she went to Mania to do anything. And then we're just going to not use you. Or we're going to use you and we're not going to use your character's potential. So dumb. Same with Keith, it happened. He beat Orton. I had a program with him. There's that. People who should never be promoted. Dunn, Gargano, Cole. Tommaso Ciampa's probably part of that list. I think Cole, Gargano, and Ciampa have talked about like they don't want to leave. Riddle's another one I thought of as I was mentioning Keith. Honestly, I would say success. Especially his RKO or RK Bro stuff he's doing now. I think that's a success at the moment. He's been US champ, which is great. Good program with him and Sheamus. I'd say success. What was... Oh. To kind of wrap up this ball. Or tangent, rant, whatever you want to call this. There's rumors now, because they were on Main Event, of Bronson Reed and Karrion Kross getting called up to the main roster. Which makes me scared. Not because they're not talented, not because they couldn't draw numbers. Bronson's fantastic. I think his most recent this past year has been great with his WrestleMania weekend or the NXT TakeOver at Mania week with the number one contendership for the North American title, failing against Gargano that next night, but then eventually winning it. I think he's really blown up for me personally. I think he's great. Cross obviously is a fucking character that a lot of people like. If you want to bring these guys up to the main roster, fine. But please do not repeat the same mistakes we've been doing with numerous of talents. We have something for you for the first 3 months you're here, and then it's up in the air. Do not bring them up if you're going to just forget them. If you need to, do like a SmackDown versus Raw thing, like how some of the bigger pay-per-views like were brand versus brand, like you had Angle and Michaels. Do that. Do it. Like, Cross has a problem with X. Cool, we'll do the storyline with them, and they go back to their own brands and do their own thing. You're all under the same WWE umbrella. You can do that. Does it kind of call into your question your stupid rules they had for where people aren't going to show up on the other shows? Yes. Who cares? Who cares? Just please make use of these people to their full potential. If you want them, great. Use them. If not, keep them where they're at. Let them do what they're going to do. That's all. I don't know. So, success failure rate, it's an interesting one. Like I said, there was a lot of names that we didn't bring up today. So I feel like personally I was saying a lot of success. Maybe that's just me being the optimist today. But I'm sure if we really did a deep dive and I did full research of like every person that's been called up from NXT, we could be like, nope, 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 nope. Like, you remember Oksana? You remember this talent? You remember this talent? Just like, oh God, yeah, that didn't go anywhere. Maybe this will be a follow-up topic. I just feel like this was going a long time because there's a lot of talent. But maybe there could be a follow-up to this of just like, oof, yeah, why did that not become a thing? Who knows? But this has been another episode of the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast. My name is Bret, a.k.a. Enigma9011, and I appreciate you guys hanging out, watching, and or listening today. Thanks for letting me talk about wrestling, guys, and humoring me with that. I enjoy talking wrestling with you guys, or just in general, just because I enjoy it. Just like, Marvel and all the other stuff that we talk about. So thank you for that. If you want to catch the podcast live, go over to twitch.tv/Enigma9011 every other Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join the chat if you're a sub over there. We'd love to have you in on the conversation. If you can't catch it live, that's A-OK. You can go over to YouTube and SoundCloud the very next week where it's broken out topic by topic and put as one big video in MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. And last but not least, #ad merch store and get all of your swag over there. T-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand. Support us. It would be greatly appreciated. Once again, guys, thank you so much for hanging out, giving it a watch, giving it a listen. Appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.